Master of Intelligence, welcome to the video. Today we have some live arena by popular demand. On my kind of recap of last season, a few comments about like, Ash, do more live arena, and I'm reticent to do it on my main channel because obviously I'm running whale champions, you know, and I'm always cognizant that people are going to get kind of turned off by that. I totally understand it. But I also think I have a lot to share in terms of strategy tips, game knowledge, and whatnot. So I figured I would walk you through my process, give you some tips along the way to think about for your account as well. We're just going to play like 10, 15 minutes worth of battles here. I think there's actually only like 11 minutes left on this run right now, and it's early in the season. I want to start off with some general advice, I would say, and that would be if you care about your win percentage, one thing I learned last season is just take breaks, you know, meaning you don't have to grind super hard every day. If you're trying to get a personal best or anything like that, if you're sick of losing to OP accounts every single battle, then take breaks and things will get easier in a day or two, right? Versus just grinding, then you're going to be going against players who are at the top of where you're able to get, given your account, given your knowledge, given everything else like that, given how much, let's be real, you've spent in the game, right? That all being said, we're going against a Nell here who's very good against Siphi. This guy's a little 95. You can tell it's early season here. He's outmatched, so I'm just going to say that out the gate here. You know, let's talk about some strategy, right? Let's talk about like my thought process. First of all, you'll see that I don't use a ton of champions. I tried using a ton of champions. I used to have like 20 go-to champions that I would use in rotation. And it's nice to have more than 5 or even 10. Because of affinities, because of counterplay, because of all that stuff. But I also find that you need to consolidate your best gear as well, right? That's another really strong consideration. So I prefer, and everybody's different, but my preference is go in there and use the, consolidate your very best gear on as few champions as you think that you need to get by. I might crack Stone Skin here. I did. Siegfried is one of the only champions out there that can dependably crack Stone Skin, by the way. So you'll see if I attack into Stone Skin like I just did, it's not because I don't realize, it's because I know that he can break it. So anyway, yeah, try to consolidate your gear, right? Let's start by speed, because probably the most important thing to consider is who should be the fastest champion on your account, right? Because only one champion can be the fastest, right? One champion should get all of your best speed gear. Now, that might be not just speed sets. It might be righteous sets. It might be pinpoint, using pinpoint accessories at least. It might be divine speed gear. It might be rebirth sets. It might be supersonic sets, right? So when I say best speed gear, I don't mean just speed sets, but the very best speed gear that you can pull off given your account, given your gear. One champion should have your best speed gear. Who should it be? It's going to be different for every account. Even if 2 accounts have the same champions, it's still going to be a different answer. 2 things to consider. Well, 3 things. Their base speed. Lyssandra's 110 base speed. Estrid's 115 base speed. So Estrid inherently has 5 more base speed. Your faction guardians, all that stuff, right? It's going to matter, obviously. Then what considerations do we make, right, after that? Well, Awakening's obviously an empowerment. Who gets the extra speed stats? Another consideration. But the big one that people miss is banners. You need to go through, if you haven't done this yet, you need to go through and look at all of your banners on your account. Don't sort by faction, just all your banners, and remove the faction filter and sort by speed. And look what factions your top speed banners are, ideally number 1, on your entire account. That will be your first indicator. Then ask yourself, who's my best speed booster in this faction? And what is their base speed? What is their awakening? What is their empowerment compared to my second best faction, my second best banner? Speed banners are everything in terms of gear. After that, do I have pinpoint or rebirth on my ring to get the 10% speed on my ring and my amulet, That should be the next question that you ask yourself. And that will dictate who your best speed gear should go on. I see some accounts run their best speed gear on like their Armons or their Fabian or something like that. But I think that's a mistake. I think you run your best speed gear on your turn. It needs to be a turn meter booster, ideally a 30% turn meter booster, like an Arbiter or an Arbias or a Seeker. But Sometimes it could be a 20 who's very powerful in other ways as well, like a Shu Zhen. There's different ways to go. Shu Zhen will just give an instant turn, right? So there's always exceptions to every rule, but that's what I consider when building my speed booster. So he did a good job. He banned my Intimidating Presence. He's going to try to go first here, and he might go first. He has Carnage, a better speed aura. I'm just going to go with my speed aura. Okay, so that's number one, is who should be your fastest champion. Number two, my fastest champion is Lazarius, by the way. Number two is draft strategy on your first 3 picks. It's not always possible, and there's no right answer when it comes to drafting, because you always want to be cognizant of what your opponent's drafting and how to counter it, right? The more you play, the more you'll learn. You're not going to know everything, right? In the beginning, you're going to make so many mistakes. Don't get discouraged about it, but just try to identify when you do make a mistake and try not to make it again, right? I made so many mistakes. I still do make mistakes, but you'll get better the more that you play, right? Getting your reps in, like anything else in life, will make a big difference. So they do go first, Queen of Hearts, and they get a block revive on my Siphi. That's not a good start to the video, but we're still looking really good here. We're going to turn meter boost to get into Siegfried. They have Star Sage. I have protected buffs here. I still have a really good shot at winning this one, but Fabian's going to reset my cooldowns, or increase my cooldowns, I should say. We're going to start poking away at Star Sage and try to get the Reviver down, right? So first 3 picks, I try to go after Revivers. Ideally, out of my first 3 picks, I want at least 1 Reviver, because there's not that many amazing Revivers in the game, really, So I want a Reviver. In my case, I want Star Sage or Siphi, ideally one of the two. And then in a perfect world, I'm walking away with 2 speed auras in my first 3 picks. And again, every account's going to be a little bit different. Every strategy is going to be, every player's strategy in what way they like to play is going to be a little bit different, right? So there's a lot of considerations. There's no one size fits all, but that's what I like to do. It's not always possible either. Sometimes I can't get 2 speed leads in my top 3. But I like that because it takes the onus off of me needing the speed leads later on in the draft. Now I can just react to my last 2 picks. I also like to keep my last 2 picks as ideally being my nukers, right? My damage dealers, save them for last. So I have Star Sage's passive triggered. I have only Siegfried. He's going to switch to his alternate form when they kill Marichka, and I'm going to have nothing to revive, which is the problem here. So Frozen Bite might have me, but I have faith. All right, so here we go. We're going to go for it. We're going to go for it, and we might get it here. Going to go against Carnage. And we get it. We get it. All right, so let me also tell you a little bit about these champions, even if you don't have them, so we can talk a little bit about like what they do. Because first of all, I understand that this is not going to be for everybody, this sort of content. But when I was a viewer before I had the account that I did, I really enjoyed watching endgame content. Like it was one of the most fun things that I did in the game, that I watched, that I consumed out there. And there wasn't a lot of it out there, because I learned a lot, even if I didn't have the champion. So hopefully some of you guys have that same mentality. So I'm going as a top, not a top player per se, but like a very high end player. He's obviously top 100 in seasons, and he's top 100 in aggregate. So I'm definitely going to draft Marichka first, because she's going to counter Kamidas's. I have to deal with Nice. I have to deal with Marius. There's a lot to deal with here, right? So this is like the real first match of the video in terms of what you have to contend with in the meta. So I have a Reviver, and I have 2 speed aura leads. Now, my speed aura lead and my turn meter booster in Lazarius gets countered by Marius. Let me talk about my next tip for you guys in terms of drafting and ban strategy specifically. Marius, or in this case, Marius, if you don't know who to ban, right? And like the more you play, the more you'll get a sense of who you should ban in a given situation. But if you don't know who to ban, I would recommend, especially if the time is ticking down and you're getting like paralysis by analysis and you're like, I don't know what to do. I think you can never really go wrong banning the first or second champion that people draft, right? Why is that? That's because when you ban the first champion they draft, it might not always be the right call. I'm not saying it's always the right. It's not like just auto ban the first. But when you ban the first champion they draft, it takes them out of their comfort zone. Because think about how you draft. Think about how I draft. I draft the champions that I really like playing around, that I build my strategies and I build my teams around having them more often than not, right? So when they're banned, it puts me in a position where I'm just not as familiar. I don't have as many reps with these champions as I do with some other champions, you know? So I get kind of thrown off if they ban my Siphi, for example, right? I'm used to running my Siphi. She's a 9-piece protection. And again, I'll show you the builds at the end of this video. And he might kill Siphi right now. He's probably going to try to and block revive. And he doesn't get her. Yay. Sorry, guys. I have a tendency, by the way, if you haven't noticed, to do this with my mouse a lot. I'll try not to. I apologize while I'm playing. It's kind of like one of those weird nervous tics, right, while I play. So I'm just going to kind of soften up and maybe land a provoke on our bias here with the A3 of Harima. And now that I've softened the enemy team, I can go in normally I would probably, it's tempting to pop somebody off with the A3, but usually you just get a quick kill, and then we can hopefully trigger that passive of Star Sage. We have to deal with Nice. This battle's far from over, because as soon as Nice kills my Siphi or anybody else, for that matter, I'm going to have to deal with his revives, Nice's revives, right? So we'll put Star Sage, no, we won't put him to sleep, my bad. But we will go in and chop off Star Sage's head there, and then it's us versus Nice. I've seen this go bad many, many times, right? In this situation, I'm actually, since I have the A3 available for the provoke on the next move, I'm actually going to go into the block damage with the A2 just to decrease defense on Nice. Just to soften him up for later, right? Nice gets a kill, he revives an ally. Nice gets 2 kills, he revives 2 allies. This dude that we're going against is Nice. He's one of the most powerful mythicals in the game. I'm going to over-explain some of these champions because one of the pet peeves that I had back in the day was watching endgame content and, as a newer player but just curious, and they wouldn't explain anything that any champion did. Wow. That already went by that fast? Holy mackerel. Whatever. This is the first, you know what? This is a good litmus test, honestly, right? Normally, I wouldn't really record that. I wouldn't put a, 3-battle live arena video out. But I wanted to see how you guys reacted to the content, honestly. Is this something that you want to see more often? Is this something that you could care absolutely less about? Let me know. Let me know. I'm going to show you, at risk of everybody knowing all my speeds and all my champions, I'll show you how I have those champions that you saw in today's video built. I have Siegfried in the wrong build right now. I have him in a 7-piece Merciless. I need to fix this, so you can kind of ignore what you see, but he's Siegfried. He's amazing no matter what anyway. I prefer Siegfried. Sure, he's god tier nuker in this build and stuff, but I prefer him a lot faster. I like running him over 300 speed. Siphi, I already told you guys, as fast as humanly possible in 9-piece protection is the best build in my opinion on Siphi. If you can't get that, no big deal. I think running her in 6-piece protection is super strong because it frees up your accessories for reaction if you have it. Again, I'm talking endgame here, but that's my second favorite build. My third favorite build, coincidentally, is 4-piece protection and 4-piece stone skin for Siphi. I like protection gear. In this meta, it's so powerful to have protected buffs because Marius is everywhere, right? Armand's is everywhere. Fabian's everywhere. Protected buffs are so powerful. I have her at 415 speed, and I have Wand of Submission on her, as well as 2 of these charms. Ignore defense effects are 12% less effective against the wearer, so 24% mitigation on ignore defense as well. Blessing Polymorph, Timely Intervention as a tier 6 mastery. Harima, I made a whole video on this build. So powerful. I like it so much more than Stone Skin. Defiant, Savage, triple reaction. It's the way to go on Harima. I'm so convinced. I ran her for years, or not years, but a year in Stone Skin and in Savage or Lethal. And man, this build is, I think it's far superior. Defense plus 10%, 15% less damage taken from AoE attacks. And then she has triple reaction, 75% chance to change a critical hit into a normal when attacked before the first turn. That covers up the fact that she doesn't have Stone Skin. and she still hits like a truck, right? I was also able to build her a little bit faster, 289 speed, decent amount of defense. As a nuker, I love Harima in this build. I have Helm Smasher as a mastery. Marichka. I have Marichka built at 344 speed with a decent amount of HP, but we had to sacrifice some stats because I have her in a 4-piece Stone Skin and Relentless, right? I have her Timely Intervention as well. Lazarius. I have Helm Smasher, as you just saw. I have Lazarius in my very best speed gear on my account. By the way, on Marichka, I have Journal of Necrodos. Probably could give her a wand, too, you know, when I get one for free from the community vote. Laz. We have my only mythical relic on Laz. It is Hallowed Hilt, 15 speed. Man, I feel like I'm never going to be able to upgrade this bad boy, though. I mean, 4 level 4s, 4 4-stars to get it to 5, or just to get to 5, let alone 6. Isn't that insane? But hey, 15 speed is amazing. I got this Hallowed Hilt, by the way, from my rewards from Live Arena first season. I got it with those mythical mats or whatever. So that is Laz, namely his speed, 452. He's crit capped with 208 on the crit damage. Doesn't have a heck of a lot of attack, but that's his base form. Gets a little bit better, and he brings his own increased attack on his alternate form. So built him to be a nuker there. You'll notice, again, I'm running double pinpoint. I have a rebirth quad roll that I got very recently. I was able to add like 1 speed. So this is the best speed gear on my account if you're curious. Triple speed on the gauntlet. Actually, I think I sacrificed 1 or 2 speed to get crit rate on the gauntlets instead of HP or something like that. This is sadly my best. Man, this can't be my best speed gear, right? Let's just see what I have. Because I have perception. It helps because you want them with accuracy. But let's just see what I have here. Because hide set filters. Yeah, it's far from. So I could get him 3 extra speed by going accuracy on the chest. Here, I'll show you the piece. It's kind of tempting, I'm not going to lie. 3 extra speed is pretty significant. It's pretty good. So this is my best speed chest on the account. It's on Crixia right now. Do I have... And I don't sacrifice. I actually gain a lot of accuracy. It's feral. It's a feral piece, you know? So I don't know if I want to give up the attack, though, because that lockout is so powerful. Anyway, I have divine speed on the boots. I have a trip speed on the shield. I have a quad on the helmet. And I have a quad on the weapon. Alaz. Alaz, I need to update his build. He's not in like my best gear, which he should be because he's my best champion on paper. Stone Skin and Savage, and I have him built to be a nuking powerhouse with a lot of defense. There it is. I have Gilded Dragonstone, where his defense increased by 1% each time they receive damage, up to 10%. Not bad, because he's such a beast of a defensive damage dealer, right? Star Sage Galathyr, I have him in Relentless and Stone Skin. Same build as Marichka. Same is my favorite build for supports like this. The extra turn on Star Sage is so powerful. I made a whole video about this that I'll link in the description of this video in case you guys want to see why I love it so much and how powerful it is. I have him with Resistance, which converts to accuracy on his alternate form. So 655 on the accuracy plus 267 on the on the resistance and accuracy respectively. And then Armons. Armons I have in Stone Skin, Perception, and Speed. He is at 717 accuracy, 380 speed. So there it is. Those are the champions that I use in today's video. We have Molten Deathbell as a relic on Armons with Eagle Eye. We have Star Sage with the Resistance tier 6, as well as with Wand of Submission. And Alaz, already talked about him, and his masteries are obviously as a nuker as Helm Smasher. So there we go, guys. Only a few battles, but let me know, honestly. I guess I hate doing this. I've done it a few times recently on their channel, but like, I don't know if you're still watching at the end of the video. Give me a thumbs up maybe if you like it, like this sort of content. If you want to see more Live Arena, longer Live Arena videos, and give me a thumbs down if you'd rather not watch it. And but then again, why are you watching till the end if you don't like it? Anyway, questions to ponder for another time, another video, another day. Thanks for watching till the end. And as always, take care, guys.